Hello, this is Black117 here, and today I'll be going over one of the more popular VGC 19 Pokemon in the format as of lately, and also probably Pokemon you've all remember from VGC 16, whether you like it or not. So here's pretty much a good guide, analysis, whatever you have these say you, in regarding what this Pokemon does, moveset potentials, moves you see, EV spreads, and all that stuff. So we're pretty much doing a rundown of it all. So as you might figure out from the image, we are covering none other than the mascot of Pokemon X, Xerneas, for the Sun series. So very likely, I don't think like the way you're gonna run Xerneas will change overall throughout the Sun, Moon, and Ultra series. Well, maybe one little thing, but like we'll just cover that once we get there. So yeah. Alright, so starting off with the basics, Xerneas has pretty much a Soul Fairy typing, which surprisingly is really good for a defensive typing. Since you're only weak to Poison and Steel, which are very uncommon, though Steel types are very common now with the advent of stronger restrictives like Solgaleo, Ult Decimate Necrozma, Kartana, Ferrothorn. Well, Ferrothorn's not restricted, or Celesteela, so. And also Poison types like Ganondorf and Milego. Um, so, the thing is, its immunity to Dragon is really great, since there's a plethora of Dragon type Pokemon in GS style covers, and it pretty much kind of like forces since like those dragons to run like different type of coverage options instead. Even like super effective coverage sealed options to hit Xerneas. And resistances, of course, fighting dark are pretty notable. Bug, you rarely see bug types, so I'm not so sure how any bug types would do in GS style cups. So yeah. Then we have its BST and ability. So BST, it's pretty averaged out. Surprisingly, it has one of the highest speeds, or not highest speed, but it has one of the. It's among the higher speed tiers for restrictive legendaries. Not like overall in general, because 99 is not that fast. Not as fast as, since like power creep in Sun and Moon, but from ORS. The thing is, it's still fast enough to outpace stuff like Kyogre, Groudon if it ever gets boosted, which we will definitely talk about that. So, its defenses are really solid, even though it's above average for restrictives. It's really solid, and its HP stat is nice, since you're more likely to take hits with multiple attacks. So, especially with the support of Helping Hand, not Helping Hand, but Follow Me and Rage Powder and any support. So, and of course your special attack is really high, so at 131, so pretty much close to 130 or whatever. So, or just slightly higher at 1 point. So. And then Fairy Orbit's a great ability in general, since you increase the damage output of not only yourself, but all Fairy type not Fairy type Pokemon, but all Fairy type moves on the field by like 33% or 1.33 times. That's the multiplier. So, and that's just amazing, because now since with the advent of new Fairy types like Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, and Tapu Fini, RIP Blue. Maybe you'll get Fairy Rough later, but the fact that you're now boosting all these Pokemon's Fairy type moves to Life Orb like levels, that's amazing. And also Xerneas as well. So yeah. Now, why would you use Xerneas? And I think we all know the answer. One word. That is Geomancy. And the thing about Geomancy is that it's arguably one of the best setup options in the format. Like, the fact that you're able to increase your special attack, special defense, and speed by +2 is just amazing. Like, the thing about Xerneas is that it has pretty much the stats to abuse this. Since once you're at +2, it's special attack, special defense, and speed. It's almost like it's almost like hard to like take it down just using special attacks alone, and you have to just target it down with physical moves most of the time. So, or just like, use all these different options to like phase it out. So, like I said, like having great offensive power with Fairy Aura, 131 special attack, a good speed tier for restrictives at 99 just makes it really good. And with all this, it's just one of the most deadliest sweepers in VGC 19, and also from like VGC 16. And it can just sweep unprepared teams. It's just like if you don't have answers to Xerneas, you're pretty much gonna have a bad time. So yeah. So pretty much you have to have multiple checks and counters, which I do believe that with the transition from like Gen 6 to Gen 7, we now have with all these with access to the Alolan Pokemon, not the Alolan forms, but the, you know, Alolan Guardians and the Ultra Beast, namely Tapu Koko, Lele, Kartana, Celesteela, May, Ganondorf. I'm not, I'm not saying they would be popular. It's just that there's just more options now. Not only that, we already have an entire format in VGC 16 where people have seen Xerneas just destroy and just dominate like in tournaments and online play. So yeah. So that said, like you have to have. That said, like Xerneas, since this is like a doubles type, this is like VGC is a doubles format. You're gonna have like redirection support, fake out, speed control, helping hand. Mostly redirection and fake out just helps Xerneas like get Geomancy set up, and it gets those like +2/+2/+2 stats, and it can be very difficult to stop. Like once like Xerneas like that's so, and even then like all Xerneas has to do is either like just do enough damage to like just inflict enough damage output to the opponent that its partner, and we're just talking about Xerneas. We're forgetting the other 5, which might be just supporter Pokemon or like offensive in general, like something like a Groudon, Lunala, Koko, Kyogre. They could just carry, help just clean the opposing team with its other powerful spread of damage or stab moves. Since of course this is GX Cup, so notable moves. Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam are most likely the stab of choice for Xerneas. Moonblast just because you have a base 95 of power, factoring in stab, Fairy Aura, and Geomancy at +2. It becomes ridiculously strong. And not only that, Moonblast's effect for lowering special attacks of opponents can come in handy, especially if you're targeting down something like a Kyogre, going for Spout, that's locked in. That's now all of a sudden weaker. That's just amazing. Then you have Dazzling Gleam, which of course is a good spread damage move. There's no additional effect aside being spread damage. Of course, Geomancy, I've already explained that. And Protect, because as I said in the previous video, Protect is pretty much staple in VGC, just to get quick positioning, protect yourself from any incoming attacks, or just get just scout out what your opponent's gonna do. So yeah. Then you have 2 hidden powers, which are fire or ground, depending on whether you want to hit ground. Like they're mainly for to hit steel types, and ground's also fire. Just is mostly hit like a certain steel types, like Ferrothorn and Kartana. Ground's mostly for like I'd say Stack Attack and what was that? I forgot the other or poison types in general. Then you have Thunder, which surprisingly could be useful now that the Tapu Koko exists to boost electric terrain and the +2 like Geomancy, and you can just Oko like Kyogre, just nothing. Same with Grass Knot, with Bulu existing, setting up grassy terrain. As we'll cover that in the partner section, so yeah. Other partners or other viable options like Focus Blast, just the fighting types, dark types. So I don't know about the latter part, but Heal Pulse. This is also another interesting option for Xerneas to run if it ever goes supportive, or you just want to run different like options to support your team. You have Ink Rage just to prevent yourself from getting roared out. Psychic, Side Shock. I only put those 2 just because, of course, it hits poison type Pokemon, and the fact that it gets boosted by Psychic Terrain, so Lele helps. Substitute's very nice, just to get sub up and just get like Xerneas in, or just punish like a certain passive or play or some sort. Then you have Aura Beam and for like ice type coverage, and Roar to roll around opposing Xerneases, and Gravity for, I don't know, Gravity Hypnosis stuff. So yeah. So we'll get on to the items. And of course, one of the reasons why Xerneas is common with Geomancy is the item Power Herb. Now Power Herb, what it does is that it makes any charge-based moves within, like, used within the first turn instead of the second. And that's why you would see things, people just be so adamant, or not adamant, but like, they'll be like thinking of ways just to take away that like power herb, because if you get that Xerneas set up, then it's almost impossible to beat at times. So like you might see stuff like, you know, Trick, Knockoff, hell, even like people will run Encore. So we'll get to that in the other section. So but yeah, like the fact that you're running power Xerneas means that you're likely gonna have a like better like item selection for your other team. So that's the one thing about that's the only positive. That's the only positive about running power aside, you know, the Geomancy boost. Getting the Geomancy boost. So you're just gonna have like, oh, I know what other item I'm gonna run. So three other items that stood out like aside power, even though power is like the superior option, are Specs, the recovery items, or the 50% berries, and the Scarf. But I don't think Scarf is as viable in my opinion. And Specs might be interesting if people feel if the format ever shifts towards or against any type of Xerneas setup, you might see Specs Xerneas just rise up in usage. But that's like if that ever happens. So, and then you have Fairy MZ, which it's not legal in Sun series, but come Moon series and Ultra series, Xerneas will have access to Z Geomancy. However, while this will take 2 turns to set up instead of the usual plus 2 turns, instead of like the 1 turn, this pretty much gives Xerneas an Omni boost, so defense, it'll give it like a defense raise or +1 in defense, and the rest of it, like its stats, including attack, special defense, and speed. And then it'll get another boost, so regular like +2 in its attack, special defense, and speed. So yeah. All right, so the next section we'll talk about our movesets. So first one we talk about are the Geomancy sets. So for this one, we're going to be covering the fast Geomancy Xerneas, which are usually the timid variants with 252 investment. So reasoning for this is because a lot of the restricted legendaries are very close apart to each other, and Xerneas is one of the few that could actually outspeed most of the restrictives. So this is pretty much guaranteeing that you outspeed, let's say, a Nanawa, and actually speed tie with opposing Xerneas as well. So the other thing you want to like take a note is that you have a lot of HP and defense investment just to take hits from, let's say, a Precipice Blade or a Sensitive Strike, Gyro Ball, and with Intimidate support, you can take these hits very well. So yeah. For coverage options, generally speaking, Xerneas will likely have Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam just to help it out. So don't be surprised to see like other options like Grass Knot Thunder and a hidden power of their choice just to help against certain matchups. So yeah. For damage calculations, +2 Dazzling Gleam against Coco, like a regular Coco just Okos it, which is hilarious. But sometimes Cocos do run some investment, so especially this one, like you just need a little like 4 HP and 4 special defense, and you now have a small chance to live, though it's kind of minuscule. So then you do like 50% to like Kyogre with no block, that's no bulk, so that's amazing. So these are like, you know, let's say Scarf Ogres that are running around. So yeah, and at +2, like Fairy Orb Moonblast just does error, or almost gets the knockout on Groudon, but it gets it like around 7/8 of the time, so, or 78.5% of the time. So yeah. Then you have against Dialga, you can almost two-shot it. So not two-shot it, but like one-shot it. So at 43.8% of the time with this investment, and once you're boosted. The only thing is that you have to get some chip damage, so you have to rely on your team to do so. So yeah. +2 also does 50% to this specific Incineroar spread, which is really interesting since most Incineroars often have to choose between running some attack investment to hit Xerneas and doesn't make their charisma harder, or like calm nature. So you're either doing a good chunk to Incineroar to where like they're gonna get fainted on the following turn if you consider all the chip damage they're getting from all the spread damage and the hits from these restrictive legendaries. So yeah. Groudon's Precipice Blade doesn't do about like 40 to 48% to Xerneas, which is really nice since with its both, like you could take maybe a hit and set up a Geomancy on it. So the only thing I will recommend is that they do have Sword Dance at times, so you just have to take them out before they set up too often. So yeah. Then Solgaleo Sunsteel Strike doesn't get the Oko on Xerneas unless they have an item or boost into their stats, so just keep that in mind. It's still doing a lot to you, so yeah. And then finally, Mewtwo's Side Strike with Life Orb in Psychic Terrain. I know it's a lot, but Mewtwo is definitely common now with the fact that Psychic Terrain exists, so yeah. Like, this set does, like, prevents itself from getting Oko by Mewtwo, so which is nice, so yeah. Let's go to the next set, which is the bulky Geomancy Xerneas, or bulky theory. Now, this set pretty much you have some speed investment just to outpace anything that's base 100s with no speed, outpace like positive base 65s, and just outpace Ludicolo and Raid at +2. So you could go a little bit further to outspeed Snowball, but that's they require like I think like 60 more speed EVs or 80 around that range. So yeah. And then you're just mostly focusing on optimizing your EV spread or the investment for Xerneas. Since special attack is its highest stat, you're likely going with Modest here. So as its best nature. So with 252 HP and 148 defense, Xerneas takes hits significantly better. Like at -1, let's say you get an Intimidate, Groudon's Precipice Blades is like a 4 KO, and Dustmane Necrozma fails to Oko this Xerneas spread. And even this is basically this investment is there just to take, let's say, a Gyro Ball from Ferrothorn, so if it ever has to take one. So another like investment or damage check is that Timid Life Orb Palkia Hydro Pump against Xerneas in raid is a 25% chance to Oko, which is somewhat like common since since you pair that with the Kyogre as well, with Palkia and Kyogre, just have Palkia attempt to Oko Xerneas, so you have a good chance to live that, just Oko back. So, and then at +2 with Geomancy, you take these like full powered spouts very nicely, and once you're boosted up, you're basically gonna Oko most variants of Groudon as well, and even like have a good chance to Oko Dialga. So yeah. So all I have to say about this is like you're just running a more bulkier set for Xerneas, and of course with the Intimidate spread, and also like the other damage calculations shown in the previous one, this one's a lot more bulkier. So those damage calcs apply. It's just made like speed ones. Just mainly the only thing you're sacrificing here is a lot of speed, since you're already gonna get boosted by +2 anyways. So yeah. And the only thing that was probably bugging you are like, you know, speed control. So then we talk about or not Specs. Imagine Specs Geomancy. That'll be funny. Or Specs Steer. So, Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, not Grass, not Thunder, Hidden Power of choice for Focus Class. So pretty much like the only reason why I'd see Specs Geomancy. Oh my god, said that again. The only reason why I see like Xerneas with Specs is just to forgo Geomancy in general and just hit targets that are attempting to phase it out. Let's say Incineroar. So Moonblast and Dazzling Gleam just great, make for great boost, like make for great stabs options, and you can run coverage as well. So the only thing about this is that you're likely gonna, people will likely know that hey, you're not boosting, so they'll just plan accordingly. But then again, you have a choice spec, which you're Xerneas, so that's still a +1 boost. So yeah, but like choice specs, you're doing a good chunk to like, or 70% at least in Incineroar, and as well, like a 44% to most bulky Incineroars as well. So yeah, with Dazzling Gleam. And then with Grass Knot, you're just gonna get the Oko on most Groudons most of the time with 252 HP and 64, 68 like for death Groudon. So that's kind of funny. Thunder and like Electric Trade, since Coco exists now, is with Choice Specs is actually an Oko against Kyogre, which is kind of ridiculous, especially like 252 HP Kyogre. So Xerneas with HP Fire actually almost gets the Oko with Ferrothorn. So you could achieve this with getting some fire damage or having Groudon on the field, so yeah. And of course, Stack Attack is a very popular Xerneas counter at this moment, so you could just hit that up with a hidden power ground, so yeah. Now, Geomancy. Now, this set is not something that you have to prepare for Sun Series, but come Moon Series, this is something just to keep in mind in the back, so yeah. Of course, this is pretty much similar to the second set we've covered, with some similar bulk here and there, so I won't go into that. Now, the main thing is that you're getting set up with +1 into every stat, and then for the first turn, and the second turn, you're getting a +2 in special attack, special defense, and speed. Now, in the first turn, you can't be taunted or encored because it's a Z, that's the Z move part of Geomancy. The second part is the regular Geomancy, so that turn you could taunt to prevent the other boost or encore, but you're still dealing with a +1 Xerneas as well. So again, and the thing is, this is a 2-turn setup, so, and of course it's very difficult to set up twice in VGC, especially, so you need to have extensive support to pull it off. But if you do somehow get it off with Xerneas fairly healthy, you could potentially sweep with +3 boost. And then the speed is probably top speed Coco and Ludian Raid once boosted. Even like Timid Ludicolo. So. And look at the damage calculations once you get this. Like a +3, like 76 plus or modest investment with Fairy or Moonblast, it is a guaranteed one shot against Incineroar, like the max Bidef Incineroar. I'm not so sure about Assault Vest, since most Assault Vest variants will run, let's say, like out of a nature or null, and at least some special defense, but that's amazing right here. That's a good calculation, since some of them run, how do I say it, the berry set, so yeah. And then you just knock them out right there, so especially you can guarantee it with the chip damage, so yeah. Then you have, you nearly get the Oko against 252 Kyogre, and it's kind of hilarious. So you could just go for like let's say a feint or some fire damage, and you can just get the Oko there. So, and at +3, you Oko like Groudon most of the time, like non-specially defensive Groudon. This is just 252, but not the ones that are careful, sassy nature Groudons. Since chances are likely you're never gonna encounter that in VGC or a tournament like that. So yeah, maybe like in a singles battle, or a singles play, but that's that's for Ubers, and that's so you're not dealing with that. So, and also Yoko, like you guarantee Yoko, like the Dialga, which is hilarious. And here's some other interesting damage calcs. At -1, Gyro Ball with +1 Xerneas with defense raise is actually a 2 or 3 hit KO, which is hilarious. And same with Just Made Necrozma's the Stunsteel Strike. It's literally a 3 hit KO now. So, and Groudon's Precipice Blade is a guaranteed 4 hit KO, and at -1 it's a 6 hit KO. So it's just hilarious. So yeah. So when using Xerneas, you just have to remember that like any Xerneas team will require a great amount of support and resources to pull off sweeps, or like just do enough chip damage for your opponent, your own team to just carry like the rest of the battle for you. So yeah. Always consider what options your opponent has, for their checks and counters for Xerneas, because if they don't have any answers for Xerneas at all, just consider using your own Xerneas, protect it as best you can, and just set it up at the right time, and then you can potentially sweep or just do enough damage to where they can't come back from the game unless they just throw it. They throw or just give up voluntarily. So yeah. So, and also one last, well not one last, but like, just don't let Xerneas take a great deal of damage during the setup or during like battle in general, or even like lose his power via knockoff, since it could just get like that's what people are likely gonna do. They're gonna try to knock that item off before on the switch in before like it can even attempt to boost up. So if they do get the knockoff, then you can't set up Geomancy without risking it your own Xerneas of fainting the following turn, unless you have the right amount of redirection fake out users support. So yeah. The only exception would probably be if you have you're in a good position. Let's say like you just want to take a hit from, let's say, Kyogre, you switch into Groudon just to reduce the special attack damage, and you set up Geomancy, or you just want to do that while you have like +2 special defense already. So, but once it's set up, like Xerneas is just gonna become like a hot magnet, and everyone's gonna like, or your opponent's gonna try their best to target down Xerneas as best as possible. So at that point, you want to consider like just trying to chip down or just OHKO all the threats to your team, so that way even if Xerneas goes down, like just get rid of the partners or the enemy like win cons that they have, so that way your own team can just win in general. So yeah. And one last thing is that Xerneas doesn't have to be threatening. Like, remember, Fairy Aura plus Fairy Stab is already just great enough in itself. So you can just be hitting off Moonblast, Dazzling Gleams, and not only that, it's just doing some good chip damage in general. So yeah, you might even OHKO some stuff with Xerneas without like the boost. So yeah. Now for partners, of course you want to have fake out supporters like Incineroar, Smeargle, Ludicolo, and Raichu. Those four are the most common ones. I put Weavile out there as an option because it does have access to fake out and feint, as well as ice coverage. So I don't think we'll see. Maybe we'll see Weavile in an Ultra Series once Mega Ray is viable. So Intimidate support, of course, Incineroar is the all-star here. Hitmontop, Landorus, Gyarados, Scrappy. These are just examples, by the way. You just have an Intimidate support mon. Usually Hitmontop and Incineroar are like the most common ones. You might see some other stuff like Landorus, Gyara, with all its utility options, as well as Scrappy. So redirection support, you might see Amoonguss. Of course, Smeargle is probably his best partner. Like, just get redirection support and just attempt to or hope that like it can like have a Xerneas like take hits, or not have these mons take hits for Xerneas, so that it sets up for Geomancy. So, and I put Cresselia there just because, of course, ally switch is a thing. So yeah. And Clefairy is actually an interesting option since it also gives it a friend guard boost, so as well as heal pulse. So I just put it there. So, and lastly, Volcarona also has access to Rage Powder and can threaten these. Can also threaten most of these guys as well. So yeah. For ground types, I know. I mean, I just said it. The name Groudon's pretty much the most common partner for Xerneas. It's pretty much no question about that, because it threatens poison and steel types in general, and it still has access to Precious Blade. Despite getting nerfed significantly, Groudon's still like just a powerhouse in the VGC 19 format, or early on at the moment. So expect to see like Xerneas Groudon teams like the most as the most common like dual restricted, or like some of the most common ones at the moment. So yeah. And then other ground types that come to mind are Landorus, which might be common once Ultra Series comes on, with Primal Groudon being Fire type now and being able to hit those for super effective. But that's the topic for Primal Groudon for another day. So Gastrodon's removed, or not removed, but to like absorb water hits, and then Zygarde complete. I don't know why, I just put it there as an example, but you're more likely going to see Groudon, so yeah. For fairy type Pokemon, but for fairy types, Xerneas has a fairly good amount of fairies friends that could help it out, so yeah. Coco, Lele, Finny, even Bulu, I forgot to indicate that. They all help out Xerneas, and in a way, like Bulu gives Xerneas some recovery with grassy terrain, and Finny, Lele, and Coco receive Life Orb Light boosts with Fairy Aura in tandem to whatever offensive items they have. So, well, most likely Finny's gonna be more defensive, and so as Lele, and even Coco. So, I put like Whimsicott because it's like another great support Pokemon that has access to Tailwind, has fake tears just to lower the enemy Pokemon special defense. So that way, Geomancy, when even boosted, it's gonna like boosted to hits, just gonna hit hard. So let's say like a +2 like Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, they'll just hit. They'll just add a -2 drop, which is OHKO, let's say Incineroar. So yeah. And lastly, I put a level 9 Tails because though I haven't seen it as much, the fact that it could change the weather is really nice, and the fact that it has access to Aura Veil can be very useful in this format. So to set up Xerneas, so yeah. Steel types are really nice for Xerneas because they also threaten opposing mirror. They're helpful in the sense that you want to have something for opposing Xerneas in the mirror map. So let's say something like Ferrothorn, Solgaleo, Dustmane, Charisma, and Celesteela. So also Kartana as well. So I didn't put it because of images didn't fit. So yeah, but I did put Kartana here. So you have grass type Pokemon. These Pokemon are fairly for just dealing with Kyogre matchups. Say Ludicolo, Ferrothorn, Katana, Bulu, and Amoonguss. They have their own respective things. Like Ludicolo is very good against the fake primal options and against regular Kyogre and Groudon. Ferrothorn's nice against those two, and Steel type and it's great against Xerneas. Kartana is great offensive Pokemon that can threaten those Groudon and Kyogre as well as set up Tailwind. And he can even knock off, so remove harder from opposing Xerneas as well. And again, I mentioned about Tabulu is that it's very bulky and has access to grassy terrain, or grassy surge, just to give Xerneas a little bit of recovery gradually. So. And of course with Amoonguss, just to have redirection and focus all the attention to itself, so that Xerneas can set up. And also with Spore, it's really nice. So, and speaking of Spore, I put other Spore users like Bronzong with Gravity Hypnosis, Jumpluff with Chlorophyll, Sleep Powder, and what is it? Parasect with Spore, Rage Powder. I think it has Spore, Rage Powder, and Wide Guard, which is helpful against Kyogre, and also Strike Skip. So, of course, Smeargle is likely the most common one. So, with access to both Spore, Lovely Kiss, and Grass Whistle. Now, Lovely Kiss and Grass Whistle have only gotten popular because it's options that those are options to hit opposing grass types. Since Spore doesn't hit these guys, and Sleep Powder doesn't hit these guys, so I also forgot to put Venusaur there as an honorable mention. So, but yeah, there we have Psychic type Pokemon that help out against opposing Poison types that threaten Xerneas, like Tapu Lele, Lunala, Dustmane, Charisma, and of course Mewtwo, the OG. So, if you're ever like paranoid about Spirit Control, even with the +2 boost, you can always have Pokemon like say Crobat, Cresselia, Cortana, and Whimsicott. Now Whimsicott can be Focus Sash and with Endeavor as well. So plus Tailwind. So, but with Endeavor, you could just weaken the Pokemon down to like low HP and then have Xerneas picking them off. Pole just walls opposing Xerneas as a certain Pokemon as well, it's like Incineroar, so really nice. Kartana is really offensive and can get a physical boost. So Cresselia has access to Ally Switch as well as 3 speed control options in the Icy Wind, Trick Room, and Thunder Wave. So you're not going to be using Trick Room or Thunder Wave, but those are options as well. So and lastly, Super Fang Crobat with Taunt is really nice in Tailwind. So yeah. Then you have Priority Protection. I don't think this will be big for the moment because obviously Violet could just cover this. But other Pokemon like Tisserina and Rexus can completely manage these. And Crobat still has access to Quick Guard in case you want to have that protection against priority. Now, right now, there hasn't been any big Extreme Speed users, except for maybe Rayquaza, but of course, once Mega Rayquaza is allowed, the format might be different, so yeah. Than to what this is, so yeah. Then other partners I forgot to talk about. Of course, Kyogre can be a good partner for Xerneas, since these two can just potentially sweep. Like, one can just do the sweeping, or the other can do the cleaning, and what, etc., etc. So, I heard that they're not good together, but I don't know. We'll just wait and see how the results are for VGC tournaments, both IRL and online. So yeah, Yveltal's a really nice partner for Xerneas, since some of the steel types can't really deal with this thing, with its dark type boosted hits, and like let's say Foul Play, Knockoff, Sucker Punch, even Snarl helps it out against special attackers. So yeah, and then there's some dragon types like Dialga and Palkia that help Xerneas out. So, but then again, they're like unexplored at the moment. So yeah. Now for checks and counters, you want to have strong steel types. I didn't put Kartana because, well, except for physical attackers, but for strong steel types like Duskmane, Necrozma, Ferrothorn, Lugaleo, Sakataka, and Bronzong, they all have access to strong Gyro Balls or a powerful steel move and Sun Steel Strike. So they're very, and they have high attack or moderately high attack stats like Lugaleo, Duskmane, and Sakataka. So, but once boosted, like Gyro Ball would be doing immense damage. So yeah. Pokemon like Duskmane, Necrozma, Lugaleo, Bronzong, and Sakataka have the luxury of also setting Trick Room. So if Xerneas does get set up, you can just reverse the speed. I could have just put Trick Room as a way, as a zone section, but I do believe that it's just a minor thing. Well, not a minor thing, but just like I put it in the speed control section. So yeah. As we'll talk about. So, but then again, like, just know that like having a strong steel type is just a good is like one of the many ways just to deal with Xerneas, since of course Xerneas has never dealt with its, like, let's say a natural predator, like let's say Lugaleo. And, okay, now I'm just rambling. Okay, I'll just continue. So, also, we have poison types. Now, poison type Pokemon are always troublesome for Xerneas since they also resist its stab fairy options, and they sometimes might carry red cards, so or just flat out outspeed it. Now, one of the new fairy, or not fairy, but poison types is Neolectro, which can actually threaten Xerneas with massive damage, or even with Clear Smog as well. So, but then you have regular standards like Gengar, Crobat, Amoonguss, and Venusaur that just all threaten Xerneas, as well as also another one like Cerlazzle. I didn't include it because of space, so. But that's an honorable mention. So then you have physical attackers like, let's say Groudon, like Duskmane, Necrozma. As you notice, like there's 3 Duskmane Necrozmas, Kartana, Ho, and Tapu Bulu. Strong physical attackers that could potentially one-shot Xerneas with boosted food, but they have to have like good amount of speed control options, or they have to have like good amount of like let's say support in order to get there, in order to get those hits off. So let's say they need, like, Groudon needs like a life ward, Duskmane Necrozma needs to have different setup for itself, Kartana needs to have speed control, Ho needs like other options, let's say like Amoonguss to help it out, since Ho can naturally wall Xerneas as well, that don't run at a Rock Slide or a boosted Thunder. So yeah, and Bulu, of course, just dies to almost everything like mentioned above, and also to, like, you know, steel types and poison types that also roam around this format. So yeah. Then you have strong special hitters. Now I only mentioned them because these are Pokemon that are like that could just do massive damage to Xerneas before it even gets a Geomancy off. Let's say Psyshock, Tapu Lele, Tapu Koko with Thunder. Lunala with Psyshock and Moongeist Beam can just do a significant amount before it gets boosted, unless they're not. If those sets for like the bulkier sets, Kyogre is still a threat to Xerneas, especially Scarf Kyogre, since they could just get off a good amount of damage before like Xerneas can set up, or with Trick Room up, or any other speed control. You're just doing it amazing. You're just doing like let's say 50 or like 60% to Xerneas before it sets up. And lastly, of course, Mewtwo. As I mentioned in the previous damage calculations, Mewtwo just can do massive chunks to Xerneas with the Psychic Terrain boosted Psych Shock. Then you have disruption options like say Roar, Encore, Taunt, etc. Of course, Roar, Incineroar, Encore, Taunt, Whimsicott, Coco with Fast Taunt, same with Gengar, and also Rain Seed, Hawlucha are really nice options since they all can just disrupt or not counter, but like disrupt Xerneas in setting up a move. Like Hawlucha, I put it there because it gets a +2 in speed, and it's actually still faster than most Xerneas, than any Xerneas if it runs like enough speed investment, and should just encore it back, even after it's set up with Geomancy. So yeah. Lastly, speed control options. Let's say Ho-Ho, Stakataka, Cresselia, and Decimator Crozma. That's mostly with Trick Room or they're really nice. Tailwind, though it's advisable to have like fast Pokemon to knock out Xerneas with Tailwind. So just keep that in mind. So yeah. Then you have Pokemon with White Guard, Haze users, Pokemon high special defense, redirection, priority, and even red card mons or potential red card users. So for White Guard, it's only there just because if Xerneas doesn't have Moonblast and it only has Dazzling Gleam, then these guys are really problematic for it to like deal with. So it could just wall down with them with like these Pokemon can wall like Dazzling Gleam, Xerneas, Death. Though it'll have to like run it. This is why like you have to run like a single target coverage for Xerneas. So yeah. And then you have a Pokemon with Haze, like let's say Crobat, Tapu Fini, Mantine, and even Reshiram and Zekrom all have access to Haze, which just removes stats in general. So, not to mention Pokemon I forgot to mention was Tentacruel. It's Poison Water type with access to Haze, has high Spadef, so I don't think it's as viable in this format. So yeah. But then you have Pokemon like Ho-Oh, Ferrothorn, Amoonguss, Lugia, and New Lego. They all have high Spadef. So the thing is, I don't want to count Lugia. I think Neo Lego, Amoonguss, Ferrothorn, and Ho are really better checks than counters to Xerneas, since Ho has the right, can just wall Xerneas, but can be intimidated down. Same with Ferrothorn. Amoonguss can't put it to sleep if Coco or Finny's terrain's up, or even if it's against something like say on the face of like let's say something like Lele. But if it can, it could potentially run Pierce Mock. Same with the new Lego, so but it has a more offensive can be like more offensive against Xerneas, so yeah. Then redirection is really nice, but generally speaking, if you're gonna use redirection, you're pretty much gonna have to ensure that the other partner Pokemon can knock out Xerneas or just deal enough damage so your other Pokemon can knock it out. But generally speaking, Oko Xerneas. However, you are likely doing the Xerneas is doing a chunk, or you're likely gonna lose these Pokemon in the process. So yeah. Priority options are really nice to have, like say Bullet Punch, but with Lele's Psychic Terrain going around, I don't know if this will be a viable option. So it will be interesting to know that Extreme Speed does bypass Follow Me. So yeah. Then you have Red Card Mons, mostly Amoonguss and Volcarona. That just like if they ever switch into like let's say Dazzling from Xerneas, like Xerneas is pretty much forced to switch out. So yeah. Alright, so in conclusion, Xerneas is one of the most threatening setup sweepers in the VGC 19 Sun Series format, and will likely continue so throughout the rest of the 19 format, even for Moon and for Ultra Series. So yeah, that's the thing about Geomancy. So with the Geomancy boost, you're not only setting up to +2 special attack, special defense, and speed. You have Mario to augment that boost, and the fact that almost everything in the format is going to take a fairy type hit for neutral damage, or sometimes even super effective. They're like a dragon, dark or fighting type. And that's the thing, like, Xerneas is such a threatening Pokemon. Very few Pokemon just take, like, fairy hits in general. Like, of course, Steels and Poison types can, but even then, Xerneas will have, like, a partner, let's say a Groudon or a Nala, or just have options to redirect it away, so yeah. Now, the introduction of Gen 7 Mons, like, say, like, the Tapus, the Ultra Beast, and even the Sun and Moon Legendaries, including the Crozma forms, as well as like the removal of primals, mostly Primal Groudon, might circumvent the use of Xerneas a little bit, because now the rest of the format's a little bit more open, and especially for the finals, because and Megas, I forgot to mention that part. So the fact that like Primal Groudon doesn't exist removes one of the best counters for not counters for Xerneas, but not only that, it was also a great teammate as well. So and it also restricted the format, so VGC seems really good. So yeah, again, like having like that access to Geomancy, it's just a great win con in general. Since if you're able to provide the right support for Xerneas and for your own team, you can pretty much just win games by itself, or just have enough damage output just to like just carry your team. So yeah, you're just doing enough damage just to two-shot anything or put them within range of your other Pokemon as well. So yeah, I really don't have much to say about Xerneas, since there's not much to say when you could just set up a Geomancy and potentially win like that. But then again, I am lying saying that you can't win games like that in the VGC, since people are going to know what you're going to do with Xerneas. They're gonna have their countermeasures as well, like say having say a Red Cardmon or like a Hazemon in general, or just having their own offensive Pokemon, like let's say getting their Primals in position to like not Primals, but like let's say Kyogre or Groudon in position to hit Precipice Blades or Spouts against this thing before it even sets up. So yeah. But that said, you have to respect Xerneas, as it's one of the strongest fairy types in the format. So yeah. So that's all I'm gonna say about Xerneas and for this guide. So do leave a comment regarding what other Pokemon you want me to cover. So there's not really much I would like to say forward. So yeah. Without further ado, I'll say peace. So yeah.